And log on to our website 24/7 for updates. You can also head to our Facebook and Twitter pages. Look for the hashtag Ashford. It was 1 year ago today that a quiet community of Newtown was shattered by a mass shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. 20 young children and 6 educators lost their lives on that day. The town says it wants to remember those who died in private. Eyewitness News has chosen not to file any reports from Newtown today. In the meantime, Governor Malloy has directed all U.S. and state flags to fly at half-staff from sunrise to sunset. He's also encouraging people to perform acts of kindness in honor of those lives that were lost on that day. Meanwhile, people around the state are creating their own tributes to the victims. Yesterday, students at West Haven High School unveiled a permanent Sandy Hook memorial. Students say it's a way to keep the memories of the victims alive.
I wanted something here in our school community, something that students can look at forever, and every time that they walk out the school doors in the building, they see that this tree and this bench.
That's sweet. Students raised more than $3,000 for the memorial. And last night, Channel 3 handed out lights of love to help honor the victims. The people of Newtown asked others to light a candle to mark the last night that those families spent together. They also say that the candles are a reminder that love can triumph over hate. And this morning, we remember the lives lost in Sandy Hook. Coming up, we'll show you how the family of Sweetie Josephine Gay are carrying on her memory by helping others. We'll be right back. Sandy Hook shooting was Josephine Gay. She was a sweet young lady with a huge personality. Joey was her nickname, and she was autistic. She was unable to talk. After she passed away, her family teamed up with the Doug Flutie Foundation for Autism in Massachusetts. Channel 3's Courtney Zeller shows us how one Connecticut family is benefiting.
Every afternoon, Dawn Eagleson walks down to the bus stop to wait for her kids to get home from school. Her oldest, Charlie, wasn't sure what to think when he realized Mom wasn't the only one waiting for him. We were there with our camera.
I don't know these people. I'm Charlie.
Hi, Courtney.
Nice to meet you.
Charlie is 15, and every day he arrives first. Then he and his mom walk down the street to get Will, who is 10 and is a student at Sandy Hook Elementary. They both have autism. They warmed up to us pretty quickly. Oh, you want to see this?
Oh, yes.
Your brother liked it too. Are you going to interview me? What do you want to ask me? These bright and enthusiastic boys are busy. Besides school, they take part in weekly activities geared for those with autism. Swimming at Angelfish Therapy and horseback riding with Pegasus Therapeutic Riding.
We've always tried to provide these services and these therapies for them, but, it's not easy.
Because insurance doesn't always cover the costs. With Dawn's husband out of work for a short time, the grant money they received was a huge help.
Everything's so expensive that you want, and far away, you want to make sure that you find something that's really worth the time and the money, and so it's not easy to find programs.
The Eaglesons found out about Joey's fund through the Gay family. 7-year-old Josephine Gay was a student at Sandy Hook Elementary School and went to school with Will. The grant money covered both boys.
When you find things that are really good quality, they can make a huge difference.
And both boys have benefited. The programs help with motor and communication skills.
What do you like better, swimming or horseback riding?
I like the horseback riding. It's not as crowded there.
The family is grateful to be one of the recipients for Joey's Fund, especially since it honors her memory.
Well, I hope they can continue, because I think there's a lot of families in the same situation and who could really, use some of the grant money to further, their children's education.
To learn more about Joey's Fund, just go to our website, WFSB.com. Courtney Zeller, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, we are tracking Winter Storm Ashford. Already starting to see some snow across parts of Connecticut, including in Waterbury right now. We're starting to see some light snow falling at this time. Next question is, how much are we going to get from this storm? We'll have the breakdown coming up after the break. Good Saturday morning. We are in for a winter storm today and tonight, and it looks like a lot of us could see quite a bit of shoveling by tomorrow morning with some of the snow that we do expect to come. And then even a mix over to some sleet and freezing rain still looks like it's going to be part of this for much of us, so it's going to be a weightier snow for some by the time tomorrow morning is here too. might be one of those situations where you might want to go out more than once and handle it. We already had light snow this morning, already developing across areas from Hartford west. A lot of our weather watchers have been saying, yes, I even have a coating on my deck or on the sidewalk this morning, just a very light snow. A very fluffy consistency as this starts too, as it is going to be very cold through the morning, and it should stay a steady, very light snow through the morning. And then as the afternoon wears on, it becomes more difficult to travel because the snow picks up, and we are going to see temperatures rise a little bit and giving it more of a greasy quality to the snow as we head into the late afternoon, especially in towards evening and sunset. Now, your forecast for today, obviously the snow, sometimes heavy as we head towards this evening, though I'd say through the morning it's a very light snow as we go on, and a very fluffy one that hopefully can, in most cases, blow off the roads. Temperatures will this afternoon only be in the low to mid-20s through most of Connecticut, even some upper teens holding on across northwest Connecticut. So that keeps the fluff factor very high with the snow along the shoreline, mid to upper 20s, and it's along the shoreline that even by dinner time, snow could be changing to a little bit of an icy mix. And then overnight tonight, temperatures either steady or slowly rising through the overnight, as not only do we have the snow around, but then as we head to, especially later on in the night, that mix, which might even be, as I said, at dinner time along the shoreline, that mix will move northward and make it at least into the Hartford area for a while during the overnight, the wee hours of the morning anyway. And so we are expecting to see not snow, but maybe sleet and freezing rain for a while on top of several inches of snow, which will have fallen during the first half of the overnight. So this is, again, a typical winter storm, one of the classic ones that you think about. Not as bad as last year, but certainly something that for most years is a pretty good storm. You can see there's the center of circulation back through Arkansas, and out ahead of it, enough cold air that there's a pretty good bank of snow here. And as this continues to move into New England, there is a lot of very deep cold air here that this is going to butt up against. And that's why I think we will have several hours of snow, and it could become heavy snow as we head into tonight before it changes over to that sleet and freezing rain situation as we go, especially for interior Connecticut past midnight. So as we turn to your early warning futurecast, tomorrow's weather today, we're going to see that it is going to be a situation that starts off as that snow, and then as we get on in time, we are going to see that snow change over. So here you go, 9:30, 10, 11 o'clock, steady snow, but still light snow. Past noon, it stays the same. And then through the afternoon, you can expect steady snow all the way through 3, 4, 5 o'clock this afternoon. Continuing on past dinner time, it's still mainly snow. Then once we get past dinner time, that's when we could see a little bit of an icy mix starting to develop through the shoreline communities. So how much snow? Well, for the greater Hartford area, 48 inches. Southeastern Connecticut, 3 to 6. We still think 8 to 12 is a good bet for northwestern Connecticut, including the Farmington Valley and maybe up through Enfield as well. So that's the way we see it with that. It clears out early on Sunday morning, maybe even before you get up. And then it's just windy and cold with highs in the low 30s tomorrow. That's the way we see it now. Tina, over to you.
Thank you, Mike. Metro North is conducting more undercover checks on its train workers after a deadly derailment in New York City earlier this month. A spokesperson says the railroad is using more plainclothes spotters to check on train operators and make sure they're complying with rules. Federal officials say they're looking closely at Metro North's overall safety. 2 high school students in Colorado are suffering from injuries after police say a classmate opened fire. And then that person, that armed classmate, took his own life yesterday. Eyewitnesses say the gunman was looking for a specific teacher.
Our initial investigation is causing us to believe that this shooting was the result of revenge on the part of the shooter because of a confrontation or a disagreement between the shooter and the teacher.
The shooting happened just miles away from Columbine High School and also near the Aurora movie theater where 12 people were killed last year. A Kansas man now facing multiple charges and is accused of planning to blow up a car bomb at a Wichita airport. The FBI arrested 58-year-old Terry Lee Lowen yesterday morning. They had been tracking him for 6 months in a sting operation. The FBI says that Lowen surveyed the layout of the airport. He researched flight schedules and collected items that he believed would be part of a car bomb. The device turned out to be fake.
Mr. Lowen spent months developing a plan to use his access card to the airport to drive a car loaded with explosives to the terminal.
If convicted, Lowen could face life in prison. The U.S. government is speaking with allies about the internal situation in North Korea. This comes after yesterday's execution of leader Kim Jong-un's uncle. The White House says there is a concern about the possibility of action from North Korea's capital. A State Department spokesperson says the U.S. is focused on the need for North Korea to denuclearize. Kim Jong-un's uncle was considered the country's second most powerful figure. The remains of former South African President Nelson Mandela was transferred today to an air base for a farewell from the African National Congress. The ceremony will be in multi-faith service and a musical tribute that was held for Nelson Mandela. South Africa's President Jacob Zuma praised Mandela, saying that he had a rare ability to put theory into practice. Mandela will be laid to rest tomorrow in his hometown. We'll be right back.
Don't miss Holiday Light Fantasia now through January 6th. Learn more at WFSB.
Eyewitness News. Around-the-clock team coverage. More cameras. The only live Doppler in the state. The only station you need to get through the storm.
For years, people have made the trek to a farm in summers to cut down their own Christmas trees. But after losing its lease on the land, this year is going to be the farm's very last year. Channel 3's Matt McFarland has more.
Walking amongst his evergreens, this is without a doubt the hardest holiday for Bill Kogut and his family.
It's the end of a tradition, basically.
Family owned since 1987, this is the final year for the Cut Your Own Tree Farm on Billings Road in Summers.
Thanksgiving weekend, it was like a funeral here. A lot of people were dismayed that we're not going to be here. And it's just a matter of fact. It is what it is. You know, we lost our lease and we can't do anything about it.
For years, the Koguts have had long-term leases, but when they signed their last one, part of the deal was they had to be off the land by 2014. Bill says the landowner wanted to go to one-year leases, and that's not an option when your crop takes anywhere from 8 to 10 years to reach its full potential. So once this season is over, they'll have to cut down and chip the unsold trees, grind the stumps, and return the land to its original form. As for what's next for these 60 acres?
I think he's going to rent it, or he's going to do something with himself in regards to an annual crop.
While the memories and the good times will come to an end when the Cut Your Own Farm closes on December 23rd, Bill says they're not getting out of the family business just yet.
Yes, we have another location which is only conducive for wholesale, because where it is, we're going to take trees off that farm, which is our plan right now, and offer them as pre-cuts, and my wife will also do her wreaths and decorating as she has in the past.
Still, it's an end of an era. Bill says growing and selling trees is in his blood and will always remain with him. The same can be said for the memories and the friendships made over the years.
We only see these people possibly at Christmas, but when you've seen them year after year, you get to know them, you joke with them, and as I said, it's very, very hard to give it up.
With the mobile newsroom in Summers, Matt McFarland, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
And again, you only have a few days to buy your tree at the Hemlock Hill Farms in Summers. The farm closes on December 23rd. And happening today, the town of Vernon will be participating in Wreaths Across America Day. The event will be held in conjunction with the wreath laying at Arlington National Cemetery. Vernon service is planned for noon at the Grove Hill Cemetery. Wreaths Across America honors veterans, active military, and their families by laying ceremonial wreaths on the graves of soldiers. And we have some great guests lined up for you this morning. At 7, we get a visit from Whole Foods. We're talking about how to get creative with kale. You're going to enjoy it. And then later, a skincare expert is going to stop by and tell us how we can guard our skin against the cold. And it's not just what you put on your skin, it's what you eat as well. And if you're planning a holiday party, don't you worry. We have got you covered. We have some great ideas for you coming up.
On your side, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And first at 6:30, our big story this morning is the weather. We're keeping an eye on Winter Storm Ashford for you. The storm is expected to bring 8 inches of snow in some parts of the state. That means you may have to rethink your plans if you're headed out later today. Thank you so much for waking up with us. I'm Tina Martin. Now, the word on Ashford, for the word on Ashford, let's get right over to meteorologist Mike Cameron. We don't want snow, but we have to just accept it. It's coming.
You know, it is, and it's like bearing right down on us right now. As you can see with that graphic, that's showing you the storm as it's developed over the last 12 hours or so. It's really become a classic storm, and it's got a lot of moisture with it, and it's got enough moisture available to give us quite a bit of snow. So as we've been seeing over the last couple of hours, especially areas from Hartford south and also west, we've seen snow develop already. It will continue to develop this morning and cover the rest of the state over the next hour or two. And just once more, I just want to let everybody know that the National Weather Service has us under a winter storm warning. That means a fairly significant amount of snow and perhaps a little bit of ice and sleet also is expected. You can see the winter weather advisory for a little bit lesser amounts of snow and ice for southern parts of New London County, but most of us, we're under that winter storm warning. As we take a look at the pinpoint Doppler, you can see that there is some snow. There's been some light snow basically in the western and southern half of the state. You can see that Hartford really is the area where it's just starting to come into. And then as we look to the north and to the east, not as much snow activity yet, just a few flurries. But there's the town of Ashford, and we don't have much snow, at least on radar yet. There might be some flurries there, but that's the namesake of the storm this time around. We're doing Connecticut towns this year. So as you take a look at the early warning futurecast, how much snow are we expecting out of this? Well, you can see maybe the greater Hartford area is seeing about 8 inches. You can see 8 or 9 inches through Enfield. Notice how it's a little bit less along the shoreline. That's going to be because of some mixing, but there's the possibility of 3 to 6 inches there. But notice some of the northern areas seeing the possibility of close to a foot or maybe even a little bit more, particularly north and west of Hartford through the Litchfield Hills and western parts of Hartford County as well. So that's an early look at our model. We'll give you another look at what exactly we're expecting as far as the snow and accumulations. We'll also time it out with our futurecast coming up in a few minutes. Tina, we will see you then.
Thank you, Mike. Our team coverage continues in Hartford this morning with Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Kate Rayner. She's live in Hartford with how the roads are doing. Good morning, Kate.
Well, Tina, most of the roads here in Hartford have already been pre-treated. This is the first year that Hartford is using some liquid salt, trying to get it down on the roads. They've actually been working on the roads since Thursday. Now, as soon as the first flakes start to fall across Connecticut, there will be plows out there. People say they're just trying to be as prepared as possible. Hartford Mayor Pedro Segarra declared a snow emergency starting today at noon. There will be no parking on city streets until the snow stops tomorrow, giving crews room to plow the roads. Public Works has been prepping roads since Thursday and using new systems, hoping to improve response to the storm.
This is the first year for the liquid, and our experience so far in the last 2 small storms, it's working very well.
Winter Storm Ashford is expected to dump anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow across the state. In New Britain, they have 2,000 tons of salt ready to go. Although they may not use all of it, the city is prepared to bring in extra crews to help plow if they need it.
Overtime costs alone are about $3,000 an hour.
And in Bristol, starting at 8 this morning, crews will be pre-treating roads with salt. Roughly 20 plows are on standby there to start clearing streets when necessary, and a parking ban is in effect. And here in Hartford, we are seeing that some flurries are coming down right now, and there are reports of snow falling in other parts of the state right now. But State Police is really warning people, especially later on this afternoon, if they have plans to head out, they might want to change them and just stay indoors because they say the roads could be dangerous later on today. With the mobile newsroom, we are live in Hartford. Kate Rayner, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Kate. And with Storm Ashford hitting the state later today, many restaurants are getting ready for the snow that may impact their business. Some restaurants are even rescheduling events.
Every time it snows, it's like a ghost town. You can almost guarantee that it's just going to be gonzo, like no one's going to come out.
2 years ago during Storm Alfred, some businesses did not have generators, and owners say that they lost a lot of business. So many say that they're prepared this year because they don't want that to happen again. And stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of Winter Storm Ashford, and log on to our website 24/7 for updates. You can also head to our Facebook and Twitter pages. Just look for the hashtag Ashford. It was 1 year ago today that a quiet community of Newtown was shattered by a mass shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. 20 young, precious children and 6 educators lost their lives that day. The town says that it wants to remember those who died in private, and Eyewitness News has chosen not to file any reports from Newtown today to give them their privacy. In the meantime, Governor Malloy has directed all U.S. and state flags to fly at half-staff from sunrise to sunset. He's also encouraging people to perform acts of kindness in honor of the lives that were lost on that day. On this anniversary of Sandy Hook, as we remember the beautiful souls who were lost on that day, we also want to look at some of the good that's happening in memory of those who were taken from their families. Dawn Hoeksprung was Sandy Hook's principal. She was a Naugatuck native. A scholarship has been established in her name at her alma mater, Naugatuck High. In fact, the first scholarship was given to a graduate in the class of 2013. This morning, Channel 3's Jill Konopka introduces us to the recipient of the Dawn Lafferty Hoeksprung Scholarship.
Her being a principal is pretty much her life. Like, that was her passion, that was her goal. I just want to be one that makes learning fun, mainly. I want kids to be excited to come to school.
18-year-old Brenda Swingle walked the halls of Naugatuck High School 30 years after fellow alum Dawn Hoeksprung was there. And right before Brenda got her diploma this spring, she learned she was the recipient of the first Dawn Lafferty Hoeksprung Memorial Scholarship Fund.
It does help me a lot. Like, it's going to help me pay for school so then I could know how to become that teacher. Like, so I know all the skills it'll take to be like Dawn.
The $3,000 Brenda received is helping pay for her first year as an elementary education major at Green Mountain College in Vermont. Dawn's two daughters, Erica Lafferty and Tina Hassinger, approached the Connecticut Community Foundation, looking for help setting up a scholarship that will help keep their mother's memory alive. They wanted to help a future educator.
Somebody with Dawn-like qualities, someone who shows, inspirational and leadership qualities, someone who, just has a passion for life, and for someone who loves to teach, all people, young and old. And I just hope that, the first recipient that got it this past year and everyone that gets it for all of the years to come just, has at least some of those amazing qualities that my mom had.
Paul Van Ness is the CEO.
Someone who was concerned about community service, who cares about others, who is a leader, someone who inspires.
The family is raising money in other ways as well, turning to Etsy and fundraising events where they sell clothing, coffee mugs, bracelets, even bumper stickers. All items spreading Dawn's message of kindness. So far, through generous donations and fundraisers like this recent Zumbathon, more than $100,000 has been raised from people near and far. These are people
who've just read about, have read about Dawn, who want to honor her memory and want to, I think particularly at this time around the anniversary, do something positive, that something positive is coming out of such a tragedy.
It's definitely what's kept me going, having something so positive to work towards. It's never have a dull moment.
From this year forward, every year, one graduating Naugatuck senior will be awarded at the very least $3,000 through this memorial fund. And even though Brenda never got to meet Dawn Hoeksprung, she's learned a lot about Sandy Hook's beloved principal. And she hopes one day she'll be just like her.
She's pretty much like my hero, almost in a way. Like, she's the person I'm going to look up to. Like, every single time I start doubting myself about becoming a teacher or anything, I'll just think about her and what she meant.
And one of the greatest lessons we've learned from Dawn Hoeksprung is this, in her own words. Be nice to each other. It's really all that matters. Jill Konopka, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
If you'd like to donate, if you'd like to honor Dawn Hoeksprung, you can make a donation in her memory by purchasing items on Etsy or by making a direct donation to the Dawn Lafferty Hoeksprung Memorial Fund on Facebook or through the Connecticut Community Foundation. We'll be right back.
Big boy football is. Let's go! He walks in, touchdown, untouched.
Welcome into our coverage of state championship weekend. John Holt with Joe Zone, one game down, and they're going to play the three others today. With the weather and all, they're going to get them in as they go a little bit earlier, and it all starts at 10 o'clock this morning at Central.
But there's one done. We've got another state champ. Again, the same state champ. Let's get right to it.
Remember what I told you? Everybody's got a plan. They got a plan what they're going to do to us the second time round. Then what happens? Once you get punched in the face, that plan
gets the Chargers ready to go, leading for one last time the senior class that hadn't lost since the playoffs 3 years ago. Woodland, well, they did the one thing you cannot do against a high-scoring team like Ansonia, and they did it twice. First play of the game, intercepted. That sets up Ansonia's Arkell Newsom. He finished the first drive with his first touchdown, kicked good 7-0. Woodland's next drive, first play, completed pass, fumbled. Ansonia's White Tech goal, gets the good bounce. He's in all the way, 14-0, Ansonia lead. Woodland got right back into it. Tanner Kingsley, 14-yard TD run, kick no good, 14-6. Newsom has rushed for more than 10,000 career yards, scored 2 more touchdowns before the half.
There's Newsom. He's at the 5. Newsom's in the end zone. Touchdown! Arkell Newsom!
There's the coach DeMayo on the call. Ansonia led 28-6 at the half, 24 minutes away from their 3rd straight state title. But there's no quitting the Woodland kids. They scored after an Ansonia touchdown, Kingsley's 5-yard TD run. But look at this. Newsom, fake run, throws to Thomas Marchick for another Ansonia touchdown. All that's left is the celebration. Ansonia completes another perfect season, 42 straight wins, 3 state championships, 51-12 the final. Newsom, his record-setting career, 10,700 yards, 187 touchdowns. And for head coach Tom Brockett, career win number 100.
I'm excited, I'll tell you that. I love it. Excited? How can you be excited? It's 3 in a row. These kids that come and battle like this and do something that hasn't been done, you know, in a long time, and only one time ever in state history is special. It's a special group of kids. Played great football tonight. Hats off to Woodland. Those kids competed real hard, made us earn everything. And these guys have done every single thing you could ask. What else could we ask for? And this is unbelievable. I'm extremely proud of these guys.
Congratulations. That's your 3rd straight state championship.
Man, it's a heck of a feeling, man. Just had 3 in a row. It's great. We ended it off great with our senior class. So this is amazing.
The 15-0 season, the most wins ever in a single season by a Connecticut team. 15. Double L later today at Central, Southington and Ridgefield. The Blue Knights a big winner in the semis over, Southington and Fairfield Prep. Southington beat Ridgefield in the semis. Prep beat West Haven, edging the Blue Devils out. Prep hasn't won a title since 1988. Southington won its only state championship back in 1998. The Jesuits will try to slow down Southington quarterback Stephen Barmore, headed to play Yale next year. That one today at 1:35 at CCSU.
Darien and New Canaan, this is the rematch. Thanksgiving Day, Darien won, and then they went on. They beat Middletown back in the semifinals to get here. As for New Canaan, they shut out North Haven 17-0. The Rams haven't given up a point in 2 playoff games. They also shut out Farmington in the quarterfinal. New Canaan and head coach Lou Marinelli, no strangers here. This game will now be played in Stamford today. They start at 11:05.
All these games today, St. Joseph has been an offensive machine to start the playoffs, and they will play in the Class M game versus Brookfield. They scored 84 points in the first round, 62 in the second, 146 total. Brookfield has a task of slowing the Cadets down. Brookfield was the winner in a close game over Bethel in the quarters on the road. Then they rallied to beat Valley, number 1 seed in the semis. That game, the first one today at 10:05 at Central. We'll be there for all of them, myself and Joe. John Brickley down in Stamford for the L game. We'll have highlights and reaction from all 3 state finals tonight on a special championship edition of Friday Night Football, 11:15 only here on Channel 3.
10 o'clock this morning, 11 o'clock tonight. Wow. On other news of the day, the Yanks officially introduced their new guy, center fielder Jacoby Ellsbury. A chance to meet the media, put on the jersey for the first time. He signed a 7-year, $153 million deal.
A little tough for if you're going out to play that football game, or if you're just going to be staying home and getting that hot cocoa ready for a day inside as you watch the flakes fly. Your what-to-wear forecast if you're spending any time outside. Obviously, the winter gear. Temperatures later on this afternoon going into the 20s as the snow increases. We'll take a look at radar, your futurecast, and
good news for anyone looking to cash in on the Mega Millions jackpot. The Friday the 13th drawing did not produce a jackpot winner, but many Connecticut residents did run out to buy a ticket yesterday, and some had dreams of using the money for retirement or for a tropical vacation.
Straight to Jamaica, Montego Bay. Yeah, hook up my ranch and just go on the beach every day and just nice.
That sounds great right about now. The game has now rolled over 21 times without a winner. The estimated jackpot is now $425 million and keeps rising. That tops off $500 million for Tuesday's drawing.
Oh, boy, that would be nice to win that kind of money. I bought my tickets. I guess I'm going to have to buy them again. It looks like we got a ticket for some snow, and it's already coming into parts of the state. So as you're maybe spending time watching the snow fly, you can still dream about what you do with a $500 million. You can see here with our early warning pinpoint Doppler that we do have a Winter Storm Ashford making its appearance, and we're already seeing some of that snow flying across parts of the state. Several of our weather watchers saying there's already light dusting, like Paul in East Hartland. He said he's got a light dusting of snow. We have Marguerite in Harwinton saying her patio is already covered with a light dusting. And in Falls Village, Cindy says the snow's picking up a little bit there. And you can see that with our early warning pinpoint Doppler, we are seeing at least some of the snow that's falling from the sky. I suspect with the coldness of the air that some of these crystals might be really, really fine. And so that's why the radar isn't picking all of them up. But you can see basically from Hartford south, that's where we're seeing some of that snow, and where we're seeing some of these colors with the brighter white here through parts of Fairfield County. And by the way, this is moving to the north and to the east. That's probably a more intense snow that will be working in towards the Milford area and also the New Haven area pretty quickly. So we do expect the snow not only to be around, at least light flurries, if not steady light snow through the morning. It then picks up in intensity, and certainly as we head towards noon, roads are getting slippery, and it looks like the snow is going to get heavy as we head into the afternoon. Your early warning futurecast, tomorrow's weather today showing the snow basically enveloping the whole state through the morning, and then it's a steady snow past noon. Here's the afternoon, 1:45, 2 o'clock, taking to 3 o'clock this afternoon, still that steady snow. Here's about 3:45, taking you through 5. Look at this, steady snow all the way through the end of your day. So how much snow are we going to get out of this? Well, we still think the jackpot is going to be over northwestern Connecticut. That's where we expect to see, generally speaking, 8 to 12 inches of snow. And we're looking north and west of Interstate 84. And that will include the northwest suburbs of Hartford. That'll include northwest of Waterbury and also the Danbury area, northwest of you, Candlewood Lake as well. But then the 4 to 8 band really affects Willimantic stores through much of Hartford and south of Hartford, and then in through the New Haven area. The lowest totals will be in the southeastern part of the state because there'll be a lot more mixing with sleet and freezing rain tonight. The heaviest of the storm really is going to be this evening, past dinner time, at least through midnight tonight, and then after midnight we should see the changeover to what will be sleet and freezing rain for a while.
All right.
And coming up in the next few minutes, we'll have your 7-day forecast.
All right. Thank you very much. And you are busy today.
It's very busy. Very, very busy, but it's fun. It's fun. This is fun. This is. I remember as a kid loving the snow and always wanting to, be the weatherman. So this is cool.
Yes, but shoveling the snow, that's what we're all worried about.
That's why I'm at work instead. I'll let somebody else take care of that.
All right, coming up, one mother says she experienced a Christmas miracle, the act of kindness that brightened her day. And we are taking a live look from our iCam in Waterbury this morning. We're saying good morning to Roderick Hayes. You're watching Channel 3 Eyewitness News. We'll be right back.
For a loop was the over $100 price tag.
Christmas is hard for anybody. It doesn't matter your circumstances.
She put it on layaway just before Thanksgiving and made tiny installments on it. Last week, she got a phone call.
Hi, this is so-and-so from, Walmart, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't paid in a couple weeks. They're calling to remind me.
Instead, the voice on the phone said a Christmas angel bought the Lego set.
Saturday morning, we're in for a wintry storm here. We've been talking about this for days, and it looks like it's still on track for doing basically what we've been saying it's going to do, giving us a lot of snow through today, and then as we head into this evening, starting to see a switch over to an icy mix through parts of the state. You can see with this pink and even these yellow and green colors, a mix of what will be sleet and freezing rain for a while, at least along the immediate shoreline. This is about 7:15 tonight, our early warning futurecast. Then as we take this forward in towards the wee hours of the morning on Sunday, this model's a little bit aggressive in bringing in the warm air and actually changing it over to plain rain. I don't think that's going to happen. There'll be enough cold air here through the state actually to keep it as an icy mix. But it does mean that we'll have at least a few hours, even to the northwest of Hartford maybe for just an hour or so, where there could be some sleet mixing in as well. So we are watching for that as we head in towards the overnight hours. But most of this should be snow, starting off as a light fluffy snow, and then just ending maybe briefly as that icy mix. And then by Sunday morning, here's about 9 o'clock, all of it's gone. So this is really a Saturday to Saturday night issue. the heaviest of which is happening late this afternoon and tonight. And we're still thinking we'll see several inches of snow out of this. As promised, your early morning 7-day forecast. Once this clears out early on Sunday morning, it becomes windy. It's staying cold at 32 with sun breaking out on Sunday afternoon. Monday's windy and cold, very cold, in fact, with sunshine and a high of only 25. And then it looks like we have another opportunity for a little bit of light snow on Tuesday with a high of around 30 degrees. So that's the way I see it now. We'll take another look at Pinpoint Doppler coming up next. Tina.
Thank you, Mike. When we return, the city of Hartford declaring a snow emergency before Ashford hits. We'll tell you exactly what you need to know. And as we head to break, we're taking a live look from our iCam in New London. That's a beautiful shot there. Good morning to Nancy.
Is revealed. Now open at the Connecticut Science Center. Real human bodies like you've never seen before in the most talked about exhibition ever. 7 galleries cover the major systems of the human body, including the muscular, nervous, and digestive systems. You have to see it to believe it. Free with general admission. For more information, log on to ctsciencecenter.org. Presented by Connecticut.
From Ashford, the storm is threatening to bring up to a foot of snow in some parts of our state. Good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us on this Saturday morning. I'm Tina Martin. For the very latest on this storm, let's get right over to meteorologist Mike Cameron, who has been steadily watching it for us. We don't want the snow, but we have to deal with it.
Yeah, you know, there are some who are really excited, though. And a lot of people want a snowy Christmas. You know, they like to look out and see that there's snow on the ground on Christmas morning. And this is certainly helping out in that whole arena. So as we take a look at your early morning satellite and radar, first I just wanted to show you the broad picture of the storm and how expansive this thing is. It really blossomed out of nothing, as they often do. And here you go, a lot of snow happening across much of the northern tier of states of the United States, including much of the Ohio Valley and Great Lakes. And then, of course, there's rain to the south where the warmer air is. And all of this is moving in our direction. You can see the storm slowly meandering closer to Connecticut, and already we're starting to see the snow break out here. Now, one thing I have to say is there's a lot of cold air banked up here. So there are some areas where across Connecticut, we've got low teens, like in East Hartland. Paul came in with 10 this morning. So there's a lot of cold air to work with to make it start as a light and fluffy snow, as it already has in parts of the state. Our early morning pinpoint Doppler showing that there is steady snow and what will be a moderate, sometimes heavy snow already through parts of southern Connecticut. And we've already had reports of snow as far north as and east as South Windsor and up through Harwinton, and also in through the Waterbury area. We've had reports of light snow already. So the snow is expected to pick up. In fact, let's do a quick future scan on what we're seeing here on radar. And what we're detecting on radar is actually the lighter to moderate snow that's started to break out. So this might not show your snow necessarily, but it'll show the snow intensifying as we go through the next hour. We can see intense snow working in even towards the Hartford area as we go into the next hour or so. And just one more quick look at what our model's saying anyway for accumulations, and upwards of close to a foot across areas to the northwest of Hartford. Maybe the Hartford area, we're looking at generally a 4 to 8 inch range, basically from Hartford south and east through Middletown. And that's a good bet here for the New Haven area as well as Norwich. And then as we look towards southeastern Connecticut and London, that's where we're expecting the least amount of snow. So we'll take another look at this. We'll take another look at early warning pinpoint Doppler and also what we think in particular we're going to see for snow totals, again, coming up in the next few minutes. Tina.
Thank you, Mike. Snow preps are underway in many cities and towns as the state braces for Winter Storm Ashford. Some crews have already been working for 48 hours trying to pre-treat those roads. We continue our team coverage this morning with Channel 3's Kate Rayner.
We're as ready as we think we need to be. This will be a good test. We have a whole new snowplow route system. We've reassigned all the vehicles. We're using liquid salt.
Hartford and other Connecticut cities and towns are bracing for Winter Storm Ashford. Crews in the capital city have been prepping city roads since Thursday. This year, they're using special trucks that each hold 2,000 gallons of liquid salt to treat roads long before it gets bad.
This is the first year for the liquid, and our experience so far in the last 2 small storms, it's working very well.
Also new this year, new snow routes, a GPS truck tracking system, and a brand new breakdown of plowing routes. They've divided the city into 6 districts to get roads cleared faster. It's not hard for some residents to remember last year's storms and the nightmares that followed.
I didn't think they did a good job because there was a lot of power lines down and a lot of streets didn't get plowed till a couple of days later.
Hartford city officials are hoping this year will be better. Public Works officials say they analyzed samples taken from roads after the snowstorm a few weeks ago and expect the liquid salt to make a big difference. State police are urging people to stay home if possible, especially this afternoon as the snow picks up. But if you do have to travel, officials say be prepared. Check your tires, wipers, and fuel, and most importantly, make sure your cell phone is fully charged.
And that was Channel 3's Kate Rayner reporting. Hartford is not the only city bracing for the storm. Nearly 2,000 tons of salt is ready to be laid on the roads in New Britain. The city will bring crews in to salt and plow the roads this weekend. The extra work, though, could carry a heavy price tag.
Overtime costs alone are about $3,000 an hour.
Bristol says it will have nearly half of its crews out. This morning, they're going to be pre-treating the streets as well. And stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of Winter Storm Ashford and log on to our website 24/7 for updates. You can also head to our Facebook and Twitter pages. Just look for the hashtag Ashford. It was 1 year ago today that a quiet community of Newtown was shattered by a mass shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. 20 precious children and 6 educators lost their lives that day. The town says that it wants to remember those who died in private, and Eyewitness News has chosen not to file any reports from Newtown today. In the meantime, Governor Malloy has directed all U.S. and state flags to fly at half-staff from sunrise to sunset. He's also encouraging people to perform acts of kindness in honor of those who lost their lives on that day. After December 14th, so many people struggled to find a way to help the families of the children and educators at Sandy Hook. Bill Lavin is a firefighter from New Jersey, and he found a way to celebrate the lives of the children by giving other children a place to play. Channel 3's Irene O'Connor has more.
Each time Bill Lavin starts one of these playgrounds, he's reminded that this truly is a labor of love.
Each and every time the crowd seems to get bigger and the support gets better.
Last fall, this New Jersey fire captain was helping families who lost everything after Hurricane Sandy. Then, after December 14th, everything changed. He's now creating these playgrounds in areas affected by the storm as a way to rebuild and start to heal the pain for the families of the 26 children and educators from Sandy Hook.
It was Sandy Hook Elementary School, Hurricane Sandy. There's a Sandy Hook, New Jersey, that was hard hit by the storm. So we created the Sandy ground where Angels play.
Bill enlisted the help of fellow firefighters and police officers, and the team wants to make sure these playgrounds celebrate the lives of each one of those angels, showing their personalities and what they loved. Allison Wyatt loved fish and the color red, and teacher Victoria Soto's playground features pink flamingos. And Emily Parker's drawings and artwork will now be a part of her playground in New London.
It's almost as if her hand is a part of this.
Bill chose the spot for her playground by the river.
Her mom told me she loved the shade. She wasn't crazy about the sun, and we needed to find a shady spot. So this is Emily's shady spot.
Many of the families have wrapped their arms around these projects.
Some of the families who we've built playgrounds for previously have come on board here. We have Mr. Soto here. The Kowalskis have been here on many of the builds. So the family continues to grow, our family of where Angels play.
And Bill's spirit is lifted when he sees the dozens of volunteers who want to help heal the heartbreak any way they can.
It's humbling, and it gives you faith in mankind.
And that was Channel 3's Irene O'Connor reporting. If you'd like to contribute towards the construction of these playgrounds, you can make a donation to 2 of the women who were shot and killed in an apartment in Manchester earlier this month. 28-year-old Brittany Mills and her cousin, 23-year-old Kamisha Mills, will be laid to rest today. Police say the 2 women and their other cousin, 46-year-old Artara Benson, were shot to death by John Lynn. Police say that Lynn shot himself as soon as officers arrived. An autopsy will be done on the body of a man who was shot and killed by police officers in Farmington. Police say they got a call to a home on Butternut Drive because 43-year-old Greg Brindis was fighting with his father. Now, police say when they arrived, Brindis was outside the home with a gun. Officers say that they shot Brindis when he refused to drop the weapon. The officer has been placed on desk duty until the investigation is finished. One of the former East Haven police...
The state, thanks to the developing storm, Winter Storm Ashford, already coming into parts of the state. Here's our iCam view over Hartford, for instance. We're seeing snow here. As we take a look at Meriden, high upon the hill, you see that fogginess of some light snow here. And we've even got some light snow happening in Middletown. Another look at how much we expect is coming up next.
With Eyewitness News this morning.
It captures your imagination. It surrounds you with luxury. It excites your spirit. If just being in Hoffman Audi of East Hartford inspires your senses, imagine what it's like driving an Audi. Come experience the best in Audi from the best of the best in Audi dealerships. Hoffman Audi of East Hartford, the true Audi experience. Hoffman, driven by trust.
Well, good Saturday morning. It looks like we have a little bit of an issue this morning with snow. Yes, we've got a snowstorm really starting to develop as we speak. And as we head through the rest of the afternoon, as time wears on, it's basically going to be it. It's going to be a snowy situation here. Our iCam over West Haven, we're going to take a time-lapse view of what's going on the campus of the University of New Haven. As you can see over the last few frames, notice how you see already some of the sidewalks are starting to get coated with that snow, and it's starting to come down a little more steadily now. And in some places, I'd say it's even a moderate snow that we're detecting on radar. And with that, I think that as we look towards New Haven, certainly as we look towards Waterbury and south and west of there, I'm sure that it's already starting to get slick. And as time wears on, that's basically going to be the trend. We're all going to start to see the roads get a little bit slicker. So let me advance this forward. We'll go to our early warning pinpoint Doppler. You can see the steady snow that's intense enough for the radar to pick up the snowflakes is basically through the southwestern half of the state. Even though we've had reports of snow north and east of there, it really isn't as intense as what we're seeing to the south and to the west. And this is where we're going to see that accumulation already, and roads will start to get slippery here if they haven't already. So there it is. There's the snow. Waterbury, New Haven, Milford, Wallingford, you're seeing that snow. As we look towards Middletown, we've been seeing that snow on the camera. Same thing in Meriden. Even in Hartford, we've seen the snow, but like I said, it's just not quite as intense, and some of the flakes aren't getting picked up yet by radar. But they will soon, because this is just going to intensify as the morning wears on. So, future scanning this gives us an idea of where it's going to go in the future over the next hour or so. You can see that steadier, heavier snow that will grease up the roadways. It's going to start to work into greater Hartford here. So expect travel to be a little bit more difficult even over the next hour or so. It's not going to be impossible, but it certainly will become slippery, and you'll need to slow down, that's for sure, even over the next hour. And your forecast today, it keeps it cold. It's cold out there now. There's some places only at 10 degrees, a lot of areas in the teens, and it stays fairly cold all the way through the rest of the day. Low 20s, upper teens for most of interior Connecticut. That means a light, fluffy snow, one where you have big fluff factor, very easily moved at this point. But then as you look towards the shoreline, upper 20s, by the end of the afternoon, I think the snow is going to become a little bit denser and heavier, if not already change over to a little bit of sleet and freezing rain. And then that really will be the trend through the overnight to see that mixed line moving not only through the shoreline, but even up into greater Hartford, to see at least for a time some sleet and freezing rain with this. And that switchover will reduce accumulations. And the farther south and east you are, the sooner the mix happens and the lower the accumulations. But notice how even overnight we're expecting most areas, if not all areas, to stay below freezing. So our early warning futurecast, tomorrow's weather today, as we head through the rest of this morning, see how that snow that's accumulating basically covers the whole state by 11 or 12. We could see maybe up to an inch or two, especially from Hartford south and west by this point. Then as we head into the afternoon, here's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, still a steady snow. It'll come in waves. Sometimes it picks up, lightens up a while, and then it'll pick up again as we head through the afternoon. And it's staying all snow all the way through dinner time tonight. We don't have to worry about a mix change until probably sometime around 7 or so, and that's going to be along the shoreline first. Now, this model that I'm going to show you, I think doesn't do it quite right, and I'll explain why I'm saying that. You can see it does right by putting in that little mixed signature here with that pink color by around 7:15 or so right along the shoreline. But then this model says, okay, we're going to have a little bit of a period of time where it's just plain rain. I think there's enough cold air to have mix through the overnight, a snow to a mix for a little while before it cuts out by tomorrow morning. So that's what the difference is between what we're saying and what that model is saying. But nonetheless, we're expecting a good dose of snow, and that's in your early warning snow forecast. You can see anywhere from 8 to 12 inches basically from Hartford north and west. That does include the Farmington Valley. That does include Enfield and all of Litchfield County. 4 to 8 inches basically Hartford, Glastonbury, Wethersfield, south with Middletown, Willimantic, Putnam, about 4 to 8 inches. And then the 3 to 6 line is basically for Norwich as we look towards Old Saybrook, New London, basically southeastern Connecticut, where there's going to be a little bit more in the way of mix sooner in this whole event. The early warning 7-day forecast, we're calling for this storm to end by 8 or 9 tomorrow morning. So you can even, once you clear the driveway, go to services, and we'll see a high of 32 degrees with sunshine. So if you clear the driveway early, Tina, by afternoon, it should be just pavement. It'll just melt away. It looks pretty good after tomorrow at about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Thank you, Mike. Metro North is conducting more undercover checks on its train workers after a deadly derailment in New York City earlier this month. A spokesperson says the railroad is using more plainclothes spotters to check on train operators and make sure that they're following rules. Federal officials say they are looking closely at Metro North's overall safety. A man from Kansas is now facing charges after being accused of planning to blow up a car bomb at a Wichita airport. The FBI arrested 58-year-old Terry Lee Lowen yesterday morning. They had been tracking him for 6 months in a sting operation. The FBI says Lowen surveyed the layout of the airport. He researched flight schedules and collected items that he believed would be part of a car bomb. The devices turned out to be fake.
Mr. Lowen spent months developing a plan to use his access card to the airport
to an airbase for a farewell. At the airbase, Mandela was honored with a musical tribute. The South African president, Jacob Zuma, praised Mandela, saying that he had the rare ability to put theory into practice. Mandela will be laid to rest tomorrow in his hometown, one part of the state. For years, people have made the trek to a farm in Summers to cut down their own Christmas tree to bring up to a foot of snow in some parts of the state. And that means if you have plans, you may want to rethink them if you're heading out later today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tina Martin for the Word on Ashford.
Rain for a little while, so we'll time that whole changeover issue coming up next with our future cast. We'll see you then.
Thank you, Mike. Our team coverage continues in Southington, where some people are already seeing a light dusting of snow. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Kate Rayner is live. Good morning, Kate.
Tina, yes, that's exactly what we're seeing here. Definitely a light dusting of snow. Take a look at this. It's already starting to accumulate on some surfaces like the parking lot here. We're at the travel center right off the highway. Now, we did contact Southington Police this morning who tell us that they do not yet have a parking ban in effect right now, but they say they're going to watch the situation very closely, and they may change that later on in the day. But there are several towns and cities across the state of Connecticut that are getting ready for this storm, especially taking care of those roads, trying to keep them as clear and safe as possible. Hartford Mayor Pedro Segarra declared a snow emergency starting today at noon. There will be no parking on city streets until the snow stops tomorrow, giving crews room to plow the roads. Public Works has been prepping roads since Thursday and using new systems, hoping to improve response to the storm.
This is the first year for the liquid, and our experience so far in the last 2 small storms, it's working very well.
Winter Storm Ashford is expected to dump anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of snow across the state. In New Britain, they have 2,000 tons of salt ready to go. Although they may not use all of it, the city is prepared to bring in extra crews to help plow if they need it.
Overtime costs alone are about $3,000 an hour.
And in Bristol, starting at 8 this morning, crews will be pre-treating roads with salt. Roughly 20 plows are on standby there to start clearing streets when necessary, and a parking ban is in effect. And state police is urging you to stay in your house if you can. If you don't have to leave, they say it's better just to stay home. But if you do leave, they say you should check a few things on your car before you head out, like your tires, your wipers, as well as your cell phone. They say that's the most important. Make sure that's charged. In the unlikely event that you get stuck in your car, they say to run your car for about 10 minutes every hour to use the heat. Do not walk. If you're stuck inside your car somewhere, don't try to go and get help. They say stay inside and call 911. and crack a window for a little bit of air and stay as warm as possible. We will continue to follow this snowfall. We are out here in Southington, but we'll bring you the latest from the rest of the state as well with the mobile newsroom live in Southington. Kate Rayner, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Kate. Stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of Winter Storm Ashford. And log on to our website 24/7 for updates. You can also head to our Facebook and Twitter pages. Just look for the hashtag Ashford. It was 1 year ago today that the quiet community of Newtown was shattered by a mass shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. 20 precious young children and 6 educators lost their lives that day. The town says it wants to remember those who died in private, and Eyewitness News is honoring that. We've chosen not to file any reports from Newtown today. The pain that was borne by Newtown last year found some comfort and solace in many people turning to faith and religion. One was the St. Rose of Lima Church, Catholic church, that appeared to be at the center of everything, having lost 8 young lives. This morning, its pastor, Monsignor Robert Weiss, says their community is now focusing on healing, forgiveness, and renewal. Channel 3's Kevin Hogan has the story.
I hope the good that comes out of here is just that we reclaim the respect we need to have for every human being in this world.
Monsignor Robert Weiss, better known as Father Bob at St. Rose of Lima Church, hopes the 26 people who lost their lives last year, including 8 children of his own parish, did not die in vain.
How can some people conceive to do so much harm to so many innocent people? So I would say my faith, if anything, has been renewed. It's been deepened somewhat by the faith that I've witnessed, especially in these families.
Do you feel like your faith's been tested?
I think I'm so grounded in my faith at this point in my life that even though it might be tested and challenged, and even though others might challenge, where is this coming from? I've never really questioned it. I've always had just a deep trust in the Lord. And when I realize the grace that I've been given through these days, I know that, that faith is strong, that faith is secure. So testing, absolutely.
On that day, Monsignor Weiss explains a parishioner in the parking lot pointed out a cloud formation, a cross, right over St. Rose School.
Initially, I saw it as a sign of protection, and then as time went on, I began to realize that he also laid a burden on our community, to be a sign to this world of the importance of faith and the importance of resiliency and the importance of continuing to try to keep people safe and happy.
But while tending to his flock during these trying days and months, this pastor confesses he too has felt the burden.
I think we're all on the emotional edge, and certainly, I don't have the answers. We don't have any answers to why this happened or why these families have to be suffering so much or why our community was so tested or challenged, whatever word we choose to use. But, certainly it is a burden, and not because I can't function. It's just that, what are the right words to say? Are there any right words to say? I think, just being present and trying to be a man of faith and trying to encourage people, it's going to take a long time to move ahead.
In moving ahead beyond the anniversary and during the memorial mass, Monsignor Weiss says his message that day will include forgiveness.
We can't love unless we learn how to forgive. And that's a difficult experience for many people, not just about this tragedy, but just about many of the relationships that people have with each other, I think that a lot of the focus will be on healing, on forgiveness, on renewal, on continuing to work together and to stand in solidarity with each other, to be respectful of each other. I'm pretty sure those are the themes that we're going to be embracing that day.
Kevin Hogan, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
And we'll be right.
I did not expect a punch.
We warned you of a dangerous new game now hitting Connecticut streets. Or did you see this? You bought it, they lost it. The I-Team uncovering more than $100 grand in missing state property. And exclusive, water backing up into a family's home. When insurance wouldn't pay, we got involved and got results. It's not just news.
Those first snowflakes, bundle up. We'll take another look at Pinpoint Doppler, Futurecast, and the 7-Day coming up next. Before the holiday season to come, it's going to whiten the ground. In fact, we're going to get a pretty good blanket of snow across much of the state before this is done. We're thinking that many areas will see 8, 9 inches, and a few areas could see 12 or more inches of snow, especially north and west of Hartford. Looks like it's the jackpot this time. And one of the things about this storm is the cold air. And we've got temperatures right now sitting as cold as 10 in East Heartland. It's 14 in Colebrook. We look towards Old Saybrook. Richard has 23. We want to thank all of our weather watchers for sending in some of these temperatures and reports this morning. And a lot of people saying we've already seen some snow, and you can see with our early warning pinpoint Doppler, here's the latest view of where we are seeing the snow. Doing a quick future scan on this just gives you an idea of where the steady light to moderate snow that will grease up the roadways is going to fall over the next hour or so. This is an hour from now. Even into eastern Connecticut, we're expecting to see this snow really develop across the area east of Hartford, where it hasn't already now. And you can see that anywhere from Hartford south and west is going to continue to see this light to moderate snow over the next hour or so. It's going to continue to be cold, too. Here's your forecast today. We're expecting temperatures only in the teens to around 20 in northwest Connecticut. Hartford, you can expect 23 today and upper 20s along the shoreline. And it looks like it's all snow today, and it's that light, fluffy snow. It's tonight that the snow will still be around, especially across northwestern Connecticut for a while longer and northeastern Connecticut. But as we look towards the shoreline, the mix starts to come in this evening. And then the mix line can move as far north as Hartford, even farther north for a while during the overnight, as we do see warmer air working in a lot. A lot of cold air. Huge cold air plume here across parts of southern Canada. And we've got warmer air to the south, and the squeeze plays where the storm is going to go, and that's right in towards New England. And it starts off as snow, and it still looks like this is a mainly snow event. Pretty big storm extending all the way back to the Ohio River Valley. And we watched the west to see what kind of weather it's like, and you can see, well, temperatures here cold enough to support that snow. I wanted to show you a picture of Indianapolis. I guess I'll have to do that next time. So, as we take a look at your early warning futurecast, tomorrow's weather today, and we take you through today, it's solid snow, and there it is. As we head into the wee hours of the morning, a mix is going to happen for just a little while. It looks like this storm cuts out very early tomorrow. By the time you wake up, it should have moved away. And so we aren't expecting to see much in the way of trouble during the day on Sunday. It looks like most of the day on Sunday is going to be dry, except the very early part of the morning. So you'll be able to clean things up on Sunday morning, absolutely. Here's the accumulation totals we do expect across the state. It looks like we're expecting from Hartford south through Middletown and in through New Haven, 4 to 8 inches of snow. Anywhere north and west of Hartford, 8 to 12. And as we take a look at the southeastern part of the state, basically Montville, Norwich, Plainfield, and then in through Stonington, we're looking at 3 to 6 inches. If you're in Plainville, we're looking more like 8 to 9 inches of snow. So Wow. There you go. That's the snow accumulations. We'll have your 7-day forecast coming up in just a few minutes, and you'll see that we have another opportunity for snow on Tuesday as well.
Wow. Okay. We are here to show us how we can get all of your veggies into a delicious, drinkable treat. And Drew and Tia are here from Whole Foods to show us how to do it. We talk about kale, and when you think about kale, you don't always think like delicious.
No, you think of a savory. Yeah, well, kale is delicious. Well, you love kale chips, right?
Yes,
so
kale chips.
Yeah, those are, and they are delicious. Kale's also usually thought of as a savory side dish. We thought we would have sort of a preemptive strike for all the heavy holiday eating and set up some smoothies and how easy they are. The recipes that we have here, this is a kale smoothie. It's not green, but it has the kale in it, so it has all the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that you get, and then it just has fruit and almond milk, so super easy. The other one,
green smoothie, although it doesn't look green.
right?
But
It's a kale smoothie, but not green. So maybe you can get your children to eat it, you know?
Okay.
We'd be happy to have it. And they're both sweet and delicious. This one, again, is over here is a strawberry and almond butter one with almond milk. So these are good bases to start. Just on their own, they're going to be super healthy. And it's, you know, if you're out busy shopping, holiday parties and what have you, this can actually help you instead of eating the high-fat, high-carbohydrate foods that people tend to be fed, you know, at parties. This can help you with focus and stamina while you're getting through the holidays. And then you could, and if you really find one that's your favorite, you could stay on that one after the holidays for your New Year's resolution.
Excellent.
Yeah, and there's other stuff that we can add to it. Again, these are really simple recipes. You can add some hemp seeds to it, which is a great source of omega.
This is Channel 3 Eyewitness News this morning.
And first at 8, people around the state are bracing for Winter Storm Ashford. The storm is threatening to bring up to a foot of snow in some parts of the state. Thank you for waking up with us. I'm Tina Martin. For the latest on the storm, let's head to meteorologist Mike Cameron in the Early Warning Forecast Center. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Tina, and good morning to you. And we expect the most intense snow to be late this afternoon and tonight. And then change over to sleet and freezing rain is also part of this, especially in southern and eastern parts of Connecticut into the overnight as well as warmer air tries to work in. But most of the state is under a winter storm warning from the National Weather Service from this morning all the way until tomorrow morning for what could be in many parts 6 inches or more of snow. And then that winter weather advisory basically for southern parts of New London County. That includes Lyme, that includes Stonington, and of course Groton as well. But that's the only area expected to see sub-winter storm warning type weather. Now out there already we've seen the snow break out, and where we're seeing the steady flakes that could be putting some snow on the ground, at least some light snow that could coat some roadways, especially the secondary ones. You see already working in now just to the south of Willimantic all along Route 2. This is south of Hartford. We're all the way through Hartford itself. We're seeing some lighter snowflakes falling. And then, of course, areas to the west of Hartford, we've been seeing this for quite a while now, that steadier snow that's very light, not only in intensity, but also the flakes are going to be very light. There's a very big fluff factor with this because it's very cold out, and that often lends itself to seeing snow that's much fluffier. It doesn't take nearly as much water to make a snowflake when it's much colder out and to sustain those flakes. So what have we seen so far? At least according to radar estimates, we've seen pockets where we're seeing 1/10 of an inch of snow, perhaps, and as much as 1/4 of an inch falling, especially through parts of Fairfield County and western parts of Litchfield County. But that's radar estimate. Of course, what people are actually seeing could be slightly different than that, but at least it gives you an idea. We're starting to see the level of snow where we could have some roads getting a little bit slippery, especially those that haven't been treated in a while. As far as estimates on snow totals with this, we could see pockets in excess of 1 foot of snow. We're especially pinpointing areas to the northwest of Hartford for that possibility. There might even be a pocket across northeastern Connecticut that sees a 10 or an 11-inch total, at least according to Futurecast. This is this morning's model. And then you see the areas that won't see nearly as much snow along the shoreline where we're expecting more mixing, especially in through New London County, maybe up to 3, 4, 5, 6 inches of snow in through New London County as we head through this storm. So it does look like areas to the north and to the west of Hartford will see the jackpot. And again, the intensity really picks up this afternoon and certainly tonight with the snow. We could even see that changeover to some sleet and freezing rain. So as we look at the sky now with our iCam over Hartford, we're seeing some of that shagginess to the clouds. That's the snow falling from the sky. It's very light. You're seeing that in Middletown too, but Route 9 seems to be okay so far. It might be a little bit wet, and you probably want to be a little bit slower on it, but I think you still can manage to make it through. And here's downtown New Haven as well. Your forecast in Torrington too, already panning out to seeing some snow across the area. Very cold today. It's going to stay in the teens and low 20s inland, along the shoreline, mid to upper 20s today, with that snow increasing.
Sandy Hook Memorial. Students say it's a way to keep the memories of the victims alive.
I wanted something here in our school community, something that students can look at forever, and every time that they walk out the school doors in the building, they see that this tree and this bench.
Students raised more than $3,000 for that memorial. This morning, as we remember the lives lost in the Sandy Hook school shooting, coming up, we'll show you how the family of Josephine Gay is carrying on her spirit by helping others. She was autistic and was unable to talk. After she passed away, her family teamed up with the Doug Flutie Foundation for Autism in Massachusetts. Channel 3's Courtney Zello shows us how one Connecticut family is benefiting.
Every afternoon, Dawn Eagleson walks down to the bus stop to wait for her kids to get
snow, and it's picking up, and especially late this afternoon towards sunset, very intense. And then as we head into the nighttime, here's about 10:45, we're seeing that mix over. Now this model is really surging the warm air north, and we don't think that's going to happen. There's a little bit of a difference of opinion here with the model. There'll be enough cold air, though, that we'll have a mix here of sleet and freezing rain for a while before it cuts out as we head in towards the morning hours tomorrow. Here's about 9 a.m. on Sunday. As early as 9 a.m. surfaces, unless they've had uber amounts of treatment. Even some of the treatment might not work very well today because it's so cold. We'll be talking more about totals, how much we expect with the snow, and when it ends, coming up next. Tina.
Thank you, Mike. Our team coverage continues this morning in Southington, where some people are already seeing a light dusting of snow. We're getting an early start here. Channel 3's Kate Rayner is live there. Kate, good morning.
reading of about 18 degrees in our mobile newsroom, and the snow is coming down. We're here in Southington, where you can see that it's already starting to pile up and stick on some of these cars in the parking lot here, as well as cover some of the roadways. Now, this is just the beginning of this Winter Storm Ashford, and across the state, people are taking, being as careful as possible, trying to get as prepared as they can. Someone saying hi to us by honking the horn, someone heading out through the storm. Now in Hartford, they did declare a snow emergency. That will begin at noon, that there's no parking on any city streets, and people who do could be towed or ticketed. And if they are, they will have to pay roughly $200 to get their car back. New Britain, they have 2,000 tons of salt that's ready to go. They're ready to bring in those crews and salt and plow the streets. Bristol as well has 20 crews plowing today. They're out there right now pre-treating the roads in Bristol, trying to make sure that they can prevent ice whenever they can. But state police saying that if you can, stay indoors today, because it is expected to pick up later on. A little while ago, we spoke to one driver who actually is headed from out west, and he says he followed the storm all along the way.
We left Utah, and we planned on trying to actually be ahead of the storm, and for most of the way we were, but the storm caught us. Continues to snow here, and people, again, just take it slow today. Take it as slow as possible, and stay off the roads and change your plans if you can. With the mobile newsroom, we are live in Southington. Kate Rayner, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Kate, and stay with Eyewitness News for continuing coverage of the Winter Storm Ashford. You can log on to our website 24/7 for updates. You can also head to our Facebook and Twitter pages. Just look for the hashtag Ashford. It was 1 year ago today that a quiet community in Newtown was shattered by a mass shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School. 20 young, precious children and 6 educators were killed on that day. The town says it wants to remember those who died in private, and Eyewitness News has chosen not to file any reports from Newtown today. On this anniversary of the Sandy Hook shootings, as we remember some of the beautiful souls who were lost on that day, we also want to look at some of the good that's happening in memory of those who were taken.
Get slick. That will continue to happen. Luckily for some of the treated roads, they've been treated well enough that there will be some melt-off at points during the morning hours, as the snow will be very, very light. So that's good. The roads won't get overwhelmed if they've had a lot of salt put on them. But I have to say, at 18 to 24, sometimes salt is a little bit slower in actually working. So there may even be some slick spots because of the snow, as light as it is, even on some of the main roads. So take it easy. Nonetheless, even though if it looks wet, you might have some issues with some icing. But we are expecting that widespread snow through the noon hour. The roads will be slippery at noon. Temperatures will be in the low 20s and upper teens inland, about 26 along the shoreline. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, the snow is getting steadier and heavier, and the heaviest of snow actually working in here after 3 o'clock through the evening hours and in towards about midnight, with increasing wind as well. And then after midnight, actually, we'll have a little bit of a switchover, at least in the Hartford area and south, with some of that.
Tomorrow, but tonight, Holiday Light Fantasia at Goodwin Park has been
And it
canceled.
looks so pretty with all the snow, too. And
Yes.
fresh coat of snow. And we'll be on every hour or two with updates this afternoon as well on the storm.
You bet. All right, if you're planning a party this season, the Ferris Group is here to teach you a few tricks to try to make it snazzy and not drain your pockets. We'll be right back. You're not prepared because Kristen Ferris from the Ferris Group is going to get you prepared.
Absolutely.
And
And make it simple for you.
Yes. All right. Show us what we have here.
Well, you know, entertaining can be stressful for folks, so you want to keep it pretty simple. And what we've shown is some basic white background decor. So your staple should be white. You can change the color out that you use every year, and we've chosen red for this year. So as you can see, all the accents are red with the, you know, a little bling. There's a little glitter. There's some floral and some natural. But the fun part about this set is that you'll see we used candy canes in various areas, in particular around vases.
We'll have updates all afternoon and again tonight at 6. We'll see you then.
Stay with us.